Okay, traders, today is August 30th, 2023. My name is John and I run the BYOB trading room. We're going to take a look inside the markets today. First, we're going to hit the daily chart. On the daily chart, we made a higher low right here and we produced the higher high. Where are we in relation to everything? Well, with the quad lines in, you can see here's the pullback, and we are up over the midpoint of the pullback that we had right here, possibly forming a right shoulder. But if we keep climbing up over the head, that will negate the head and shoulders pattern, and there's a possibility we do that. Now we're 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles in a row all the way up. And we happen to have knocked on the door of the upper 30% line today. So we'll see what happens if they're going to get any more. Now, remember what we asked for yesterday? We were looking for follow through. And what did we get? We got it. We got follow through. Looking more like a doji candle, but kind of a fat doji candle if you ask me. But we did get slight follow through. So now on either side of this, above it, I'm bullish. Below it, I'm bearish. Right through here, this doji candle right there, which represents the pause. So below that doji candle, I'm a bear. Above it, I'm a bull. All right, because that's the pause. We'll see what they want to do with it come tomorrow. So there's the SPY putting in the higher low, creating the higher high. So you can see we've got, let's see if we got it on the hourly chart. Not quite. Okay, but on the 30-minute chart, no, 15 it shows up. All right, 15 you've got higher high and higher low, higher high, higher low. So on the 15-minute chart, we have a 15-minute uptrend. Not recognizable on the 30, the hourly, or anything larger at this time. And we're up over the midpoint. So bulls are in charge right now as far as I'm concerned. We're up over the midpoint. Bears no longer have the ball. So I was kind of expecting the bears to kind of push us back to the pivot and maybe even to the midpoint sometime today. It may be coming tomorrow. And it might not. It might get some more continuation tomorrow. We'll see what kind of news comes out that generates the momentum in whichever direction they choose to go in. So bear in mind, this was a head and shoulders. I'm just going to remove the head just for a minute here. All right. And you can see all these wicks standing up here. This is... Everyone knows what this is. Those wicks that stand up or those peaks, that's major resistance. So we got major resistance here. And of course, the head, which would be this area all up in here. So all of this right here is major resistance. All these peaks and this price action right through here. Notice how we're attacking it. We've already sliced through the minor resistance, and now we're working on major resistance. So without even checking support. So that's kind of strange. We could come falling back down fast, hard and fast. We'll see what they want to do. If they want to just grind it up from here or check support and grind it up. We'll see what they want to do. So there's SPY, and that's the 15-minute chart. So we're going to come back. We're going to go to QQQ. We're going to hit the daily on the QQQ. Daily on the QQQ. If you remember what we said, we're looking for follow through. Again, if that's a doji candle, it's a fat doji candle, but that looks like follow through to me. And you got follow through up over the midpoint. Higher low created the higher high. Kind of knocking on the door of the upper 30% again. Kind of doing the same thing that the SPY's doing. So right there, QQQ, bullish again on QQQ and SPY. closing candles up over the midpoint and holding on with follow through. That's a bullish pattern right there. So now let's take a look at T2122. You can see we spent all day in the buy zone. Didn't even enter the chop zone. I think we knocked on the door of the overbought zone for a second right here. Didn't quite close any candles up there. T2123. Green most of the day on the 15-minute. Couple of red stragglers here. Things are getting tight. Something's going to happen tomorrow. We're either going to break out or break down, one or the other. Looking a little bit exhausted here, running into this falling 200. We'll see what happens. On the 3-bar chart, 3-bar chart is still red. So the 3-bar chart shows the bears still in charge. While the quadrant lines show the bulls are still in line. So we'll see what happens with those. Now, let's run back and let's take a look at FNGU. Now, FNGU, remember, was in that head and shoulders pattern with the neckline that was broken. So here's our neckline. Let's extend that over. And then we have a downtrend, so FNGU creating the higher low and spiking the downtrend line right there. Right into the midpoint. We'll see if they can grind over to the right and move their way up to the neckline. FNGU's got a little bit of work to do, but there is the neckline for the head and shoulders pattern. This would be shoulder right. This would be shoulder left. This would be left neck, right neck, neckline right there. Here's your downtrend line, spiking the downtrend line all the way back to the midpoint. See if they can close a candle up there, maybe by the end of the week. We'll see what happens. There's FNGU. All right, now it's pretty good bullish action to be. Now it's starting to lean on the midpoint. The bears still own this. But they start closing candles up over the midpoint, I got to give it to the bulls. So there's FNGU. Now let's take a look at IWM. Now this one was weak. All right, so now we got some follow through. Kind of knocking on the midpoint door here. And we got the follow through that we asked for. Still got that head and shoulders pattern. One thing of note that's different from the other two is we've got higher low here. Okay, we never really made a lower low. We've still got a higher low here, so there'll be pressure on the bulls to produce that higher high, or at least double top it up here somewhere. That's IWM, setting up a head and shoulders pattern, but keep in mind we are working with a higher low on IWM. Now the Diamond Dow. And they also have a higher low. And look at them closing candles up over the midpoint, just like the SPY and the QQQ. Not a pretty candle. That's a topping tail candle. But holding trend here on the diamonds. And probably look for this to bull flag over to the right. Probably for a day or two. But Diamond Dow pushing it up to the midpoint at the end of the month here. So trying to attack these highs up here. Notice, see the spike sticking down? That's our minor resistance. So you can see we spiked into that minor resistance right there. It'll take some time to work through these 12 candles and start working on the major resistance up overhead here. So there's Diamond Dow. Now let's take a look at SMH. Here's SMH. From the move up, big bull flag up in the quadrant 4. Everything's still bullish on SMH. Keep in mind they made a higher low. Pressure's on the bulls to produce that higher high. Look for them to grind up and attack these highs up here. SMH still bull flagging. Like to see it cool off for a week or two, but hey, it's still working. XLF. All right, here's XLF. These are your uptrend lines. This is a possible uptrend line. We'll see where it goes. Spike the midpoint of the pullback. Here's the pullback, spiking the midpoint of the pullback. Not able to close candles up over there, but still remaining in this uptrend here. And it looks like they got a little 15-minute uptrend. They're digging out right here. See, we got higher high. This is the last high. Got a higher high. Got a higher low. That was the last low. So we got higher high, higher low, equal high, higher low, higher high, and we'll wait to see where they put the low in. There's XLF. Now IYT. Oh, back to XLF. You know, that's about all we got going on right now for XLF. That's the good news, is they're knocking on the door of the midpoint. And they got that 15-minute uptrend. So you can see they were right into the minor resistance. See these tails that stick down? So you can see they kind of spiked into those minor resistance. Now, if they start grinding their way up through, start closing candles over the midpoint, then they'll be working on the major resistance, which would be all these candles that stick up over this area right here. So everything over $35 is going to be into the major resistance area on XLF. CrowdStrike beats. I didn't even know they were in today. I was looking at them earlier. That's kind of funny. Thanks for sharing that, Alan. IYT. I'm going to go look at that after. Here's IYT. All right, here's our pullback for the transports. This is just a 15-minute downtrend into a hockey stick bear flag right there. Nothing happening yet. They still got a little bit more room to drop if they wanted to. Put the quad lines in for this pullback. Nowhere near the midpoint. Actually kind of stuck in the lower 30%. So this is got to give this one up to the bears. They're still holding this down here on IYT. Now, if we take from the bottom to the top here, so we'll take this blue one, drag it out, and you can see price action trying to climb back into the upper third up here. All right, so here's the pullback, the higher low. All right, so we got a higher low. So now pressure's going to be on the bulls. They got to produce a higher high. First, they're going to have to get back up over this green midpoint right here. And then they're going to have to work their way up and start working on this major resistance up here. All right, so we'll see what they want to do here. They got a lot of work to do on the IYT. But trying to knock on the door of the upper third. See right here? Here's the blue one. Notice they're closing like up into the upper third. That's a good sign to jump back into that upper third area. That puts them back into the bullish camp. It gets them close, but I like to see them back up over this midpoint of this pullback. Right now, still bear flag. Maybe they can break that flag and start popping candles back up here in the upper over the midpoint. We'll see what happens with that one. All right, let's take a look at the dollar. Now, the dollar fell some more today. And on the economic calendar, here's the dollar. So here's the dollar falling. See the major resistance right here? So we'll circle the major resistance. So we got major resistance right here. It's all those tails. And if you notice, see how they go all the way over? Those tails cause this to drop back down. Now we have a little bit of minor support right here. And you can see that's where this price action's kind of hanging up here. So see if they're going to run up and attack it one more time, or if they're going to, if the trolls are going to let them pass and they can start working their way back down. But we've got a lot of stuff hanging out here. Not only do we have the minor support, but we've also got a whole lot of converging moving averages. So we'll see what happens as the next week plays out here in the US dollar index. And let's take a look at the economic calendar tomorrow. We got jobless claims and personal income outlays at 8:30. So a little bit of a busy morning. Chicago PMI 945. The natural gas report at 10:30 and a balance sheet at 4:30. So got quite a busy morning, and Raphael Bostic's going to speak at 3:15 in the morning. Chances are he's probably over in England speaking there. And Susan Collins is going to speak at 9. So we'll see what happens there. Again, 8:30 in the morning, we're going to have jobless claims and personal income outlays. And for earnings, what did we get? Let's go look at, this is August. Well, I'm not even on the earnings. Let's go get the earnings. All right, so see our Salesforce and CrowdStrike, two big ones, and Prudential, Brown-Forman. Big day for earnings. Got some big market caps. We'll have to check those out. CRM and CrowdStrike and Prudential. So we'll take a look at it. Tomorrow for earnings, we've got Broadcom. AVGO reports tomorrow. We'll see what happens with them. And then we got UBS. They also report tomorrow. Broadcom reports tomorrow evening, and UBS reports in the morning. And VMware reports in the evening. Lululemon, they report in the evening as well. Dell in the evening, and Dollar General in the morning. And Sunny, MDB reports tomorrow evening. Remember that one, Hormel Foods. Got some big ones, Campbell Soup, Hormel Foods, Polestar. Polestar's not a big one, but I recognize them. So there you go for earnings for tomorrow. Had some big earnings for today. And let's go look at UNG. UNG had a pretty good day. Look at that green candle recovering this sell-off. What a day for UNG. Kind of trying to attack that midpoint one more time. Still stuck in this big bear flag. That would be the flagpole or your hockey stick. And this would be the blade to your hockey stick right there. So still in that big bear flag, UNG. And USO's in that bull flag. So here's the move up and bull flagging over to the right. Wouldn't bother me at all if this cooled off for a couple weeks. I think it should. I can't control it. We'll see what it wants to do. Kind of got a little mini head and shoulders, but I don't think that's going to play out at all. So there's USO. Silver. Silver was bullish. Got more bullish again today. Look at the candle. Higher low, higher high. Not a pretty green candle, but higher low, higher high, spiking the uptrend line. The downtrend line. So there's silver. Let's take a look at gold. Gold was working on the midpoint. Gold spikes the midpoint, closing a candle up over the midpoint. Another higher low, higher high on GLD. So commodities kind of moving up this week. As you can see, UNG erasing that bearish move right there. Almost trying to get back to the midpoint. USO holding the bull flag up here. Silver spike in the downtrend. It's a long-term downtrend right there, starting back in May. We're in August now. Gold piercing the midpoint right here of the last sell-off. So commodities kind of improving right now. This could be enough to start lifting the markets to challenge those highs. We'll see what happens. We're going to need some participation from the dollar, and believe it or not, we did get some of that participation today with this pulling back right here. Question is how will it deal with these? You got some rising moving averages and some falling moving averages, plus we've got some minor support. So it all has to come down to how it deals with this next week, the rest of this week and next week. And Allen reports Chewy beats also on revenues and earnings per share. Wow, great week for some of these stocks. All right, so I'm going to take questions. Any questions from anybody? CrowdStrike not really moving, Alan. Still stuck here at 147. Chewy. Thank you for providing the numbers. Chewy getting a little pop right here. I mean, they have not put in the lower high. Look at Chewy. There's no lower high unless you want to count that. This is what they're doing. They're putting in the lower high now. We'll see how far they want to take it back. They're up over the trendicator so far. That's tough when they don't put in that lower high. You like that string of stairs where you got levels out and then down, out and then down. All right, YouTubers, I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Traders, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.